So welcome again. This is the second Business Impact Award. This is the Connected Home Business Impact Award. And first of all, Nolan, before we start with you, I just want to say one of my favorite guys to talk to when I'm on the phone with people is Rod, because he's always got something interesting going on, beacons and, all sorts of, companies that, I go to Home Depot and buy their stuff, he's actually working with. So, that's something that, is tangible to me. As I deal with a lot of these companies, they're in the weeds of industrial stuff. So having a company like Lockstate here to talk to is great because of the fact that you represent something that consumers and people get in general. So with that said, what I'm going to do is have you want to start us off, or Rod, do you want to? Nolan, why don't you start us off and tell us who you are and what you really do, and then I'll hand it to Rod.
Well, if I tell you what I really do, then I wouldn't be able to sit here any longer because people would realize that it's not much, right? Let me start off by saying thank you, Carl. Really appreciate the nomination, and also thanks to Ayla Networks and Crossfire Media. We are really excited to be entering this space and enjoying a lot of the industrial hype and the industrial success that people are seeing. Lockstate actually started as a lock company, an electronic lock company, about 10 years ago. And about 5 years ago, we realized there was going to be huge disruption in the security space through M2M and IoT technologies. And so at that time, we actually started to develop the first smart lock that you could control from a smartphone or a computer, and we developed it using Wi-Fi to connect it to the internet. It was the first generation lock. We called it the remote lock, and it's been particularly popular in industry verticals like Airbnb, vacation rental, multifamily, where our users would use it to grant limited remote access to service people and their guests, and then let that access expire. So it was an extremely helpful business case and use of IoT technology. We chose Wi-Fi. I think it's an important point because among all the other flavors of radio frequency, Wi-Fi was the most ubiquitous. It's in the home, it's in most buildings, the infrastructure was already there, and so it was less expensive for our customers to install it, and it was also easier for them to install. So I'd just like to make quickly 3 observations being an early IoT adopter. And the first is, as we see this term IoT get super hyped these days as it seeps into our mainstream vocabulary, I think it's an important point to remember that the distinction, in my opinion, the distinction between electronic products and IoT products is going to disappear. So that said, if you're a manufacturer and you haven't crafted an IoT strategy, then I think you risk obsolescence. The second would be that it's a very important step to evaluate the partners that you choose that fit your business and make sure that your IoT enabling partners are a good fit for your business. Just as, for example, Ayla Networks has proven to be a fantastic partner and enabler for our technology. And then finally, I think it's so important. This is probably the salient point. It's so important when you develop IoT products and connect them to always be asking ourselves, am I solving a problem for the customer? Because if we stop solving a problem for the customer, then it doesn't matter how cool the technology is. All the development efforts and all of the work is for nothing. And we very much focus on solving problems for the customers in Airbnb industries and making sure that we are not a gadget, but an actual piece of equipment that they would like to use. So that's a long-winded answer to your question. But
Yeah, tonight the spotlight really is on Nolan and the Lockstate guys. On behalf of Ayla, we're proud and excited to have a good relationship with Lockstate. We've been working with them for a number of years. Obviously Lockstate's been around a little bit longer than Ayla has, but you were one of the early customers that we signed on the Ayla platform, and we've had a tremendous amount of success together, I think, in bringing these connected products to the marketplace. So on behalf of the entire organization, the Ayla organization, I just want to say congratulations and thank you for your continued support.
Fantastic.
So with that said, let me come back to give me some details about the implementation, and where do you think you guys might go? I got the Airbnb instantaneously. Is there a timing function or proximity function in there? When do you sit there and say I'll close it up? Now I'll hand it.
By timing and proximity, do you mean in terms of product launch? Or?
The Airbnb person's going to disappear, 5 o'clock Friday, so bingo kazango, it's on a timer that the lock changes, so how do you
it's so much better than that. I'll walk you through the Airbnb integration, because we also have a partnership with Airbnb where we're selected as one of their partners to enable their hosts to better manage. Here's how it works. Our platform is integrated with the Airbnb platform. So when a guest or a traveler books on the Airbnb platform, the reservation, of course, is paid for on Airbnb's platform, excuse me, and the calendar is blocked out. It will dip into our system and get the door lock code that will only work for the duration that traveler is going to be staying at Airbnb, and automatically email it to them. So when the traveler arrives at the property, they've already received, either by email or by text, the code, and they'll enter it into the lock, and since it's Wi-Fi enabled and connected, the lock knows when to allow the code, and the lock knows when to stop allowing the code. And this is all done with in cooperation with the Ayla platform, as well as our own cloud platform and the technology in the lock.
Got it. You want to talk about the implementation a bit?
Yeah, again, as Nolan said, it really is a great example of kind of that cloud-to-cloud connectivity, right? Being able to connect into, both Lockstate's cloud as well as the Airbnb cloud, and we really feel as that is a critical point of successful IoT, right? I mean, when you have an IoT platform, an IoT solution that's very closed off and doesn't allow you to have these interconnections to these other cloud environments, ultimately you're not going to be as successful, right, as you do when you do have that openness, right, and the ability to share information, share data back and forth across these different cloud platforms. That's really what makes IoT as powerful as it is today.
Excellent. So, what's next for you guys? What else is coming? Should I stay tuned?
I would definitely stay tuned. I can tell you that there are quite a few announcements on the horizon with the use of both Ayla and our own technologies, with products that will be launched into the market, as well as partnerships that we'll be announcing as well. So that's a whole lot of vagueness around things are coming, and they're exciting.
Okay.
It's exciting times. Well,
I hope you use this as a venue to make announcements.
Oh, we definitely will. And I can tell you the one thing, or one of the nice advantages of being squarely in the middle of what I would call this IoT boom, is that we see really the culmination of a couple of industries coming together here today. So you have, of course, as we talked about, the hyped IoT technologies, and you also have this thing called the sharing economy, and they're on sort of a collision course in terms of not only hype, but also actual adoption by consumers and customers. And so I think that being right at the pinnacle of those two burgeoning industries is also exciting.
Excellent. So with that said, I think I'm going to adjourn us. I really appreciate your guys' time. Nolan, again, congratulations. Thank you for nominating Rod.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.